Welcome back to another edition of the Pagcast. I'm your host, Michael Pagani, joined alongside Belleville Senators goalie, Joey Daccord. Joey, how are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank you for opening up your DM and responding to my message. I'm glad to have you on. Now, lots of people have been watching Tiger King. Ozark and Outer Banks are the new hit shows. What have you been doing during quarantine?
I haven't indulged in Tiger King or Outer Banks. I've been watching. I watched the first two seasons of Ozark already, and then my family wanted to watch during quarantine here, so I rewatched the first two seasons and then the new season that came out during quarantine. So I'm a big fan of that show.
Yeah, I heard it's a great show. Have you been Netflix partying with any of your teammates?
Not necessarily. I think all the guys kind of once the season ends, kind of go and do their own thing a little bit. But definitely, texting about different shows, and everyone's been talking about Tiger King, but yeah, nothing too crazy really on that end.
Now, who influenced you to start hockey?
My dad played professionally in Switzerland for a little while, and he played Division One college hockey at Merrimack College. And my parents took me to the rink when I was 2 days old, so hockey's kind of been in my blood for forever. And when I was a little kid, my dad was a goalie coach for the Boston Bruins, and he actually works at the Toronto Maple Leafs now. So we got a little rivalry going.
So I'm assuming you grew up a Bruins fan since your dad was the goalie coach there?
Yeah, so when I was like 5 years old, he was the goalie coach there for a few years.
Oh, that
And
much. Yeah, that's it. Boston and Toronto always play in the first round of the playoffs, it seems like. So I would imagine there is some wagering that goes on during those times.
yeah, there used to be. It's been a little different now, especially since I started playing pro, and he's been working with Toronto for the last 5 years now. So yeah, it's been good, especially when Ottawa plays Toronto or when we're in Belleville playing the Marlies. We always like to give it to each other a little bit.
Now, did your dad help you with your road to getting drafted in the NHL?
Yeah, no, he was a huge part of that. He's been my goalie coach my whole life, so been pretty fortunate to have an NHL caliber goalie coach, just around 24/7. And he's someone that I've always looked up to, and he's been, incredibly influential in my life, and super supportive, and has always tried to do nothing but the best for me. And he's really been, probably the biggest influence in where I am today.
Some people like to not thrive when the spotlight is on them. Being a seventh round pick, do you like to thrive when the spotlight's not on you?
I kind of liked it. I think there's so much pressure when you're a high pick, and for me, I was a late bloomer, and I didn't really have many offers for college. I had a few teams interested, but nothing too crazy, and was fortunate enough to get picked by Otto with one of the last picks in the draft, and fortunate enough to get a scholarship from Arizona State. And things kind of just came together, and I think being such a late pick, it kind of allowed me to just put my head down and go to work, and not be worried about making it to the NHL in a year or two, right? So I got drafted in 2015, and I didn't play in the NHL until 2019. So it wasn't a big rush there for me.
You did finish your first year of pro. How would you describe it?
I think it was a good year. Battled a lot of adversity, and I lived in a hotel for the whole time in the AHL, and there's a lot of little things about being a pro that take a lot of learning. But I think it was a good year. Our team finished the season in first place in our division, and that's something that we're all proud of. And we had a really good team. So many young guys that were really great hockey players, and we had good team camaraderie, and we had a good group of guys. So I was really happy with how it went.
Now, who would mentor you? Let's say, who
This
mentored
season?
you during your first year of pro?
Well, I was really close with the goalie coach in Belleville, Corey Cooper. He and I, over the last couple of years, during just while I was coming up through college and playing my first season pro, we've gotten close, and working alongside him this year was really nice, and we got closer than we have been, and we have a really good relationship, and we get along very well, and we kind of see things in the same light. So he was definitely a big part of that, part of my success this year.
How did you get your foot in the door? Did you ever use social media to your advantage to reach out to these colleges?
For college, no. I had a little bit of interest, and I kind of just kind of waited, and I didn't really put myself out there much. I know people have differing opinions on that. For me personally, I just like to play, and if you like me, you like me. If not, I'm not going to try to convince you otherwise through words. I'll try to convince you through my play. So for me, it just kind of fell in my lap with Arizona State, and Coach Powers called me, and I was driving in a snowstorm while he called me, and he was in sunny Arizona, and he said, "Hey, you want to come for a visit?" And I said,
The contrast of that setting, though.
Yeah, so I went down for a visit and loved it, and him and I got along really well right away. And he's done an unbelievable job building that program down there, and I'm very proud to have been part of the team. The first team from Arizona State to make the NCAA tournament.
Well, that must have been such a big accomplishment for you, being the first team from Arizona to make it to this huge NCAA tournament. Like, did the nerves ever get to you?
No, I mean, it was pretty special during the season because we got off to a really hot start. So that was my junior year, and it was just our ASU's fourth season of Division I. And the year before, I don't think we ever made it higher than 48th in the country. So to be one of the top 16 teams was really cool, and to get in. And we knew we had something special right away in that third year, and we got off to a hot start, and we had some big wins. We beat Penn State, beat BU, beat BC. We beat some big teams, and we just kept playing well. And it got to a point where we just didn't feel like we were going to lose on any given night, especially at home. And, to be a part of that team, that the first team to make the NCAA tournament from a school only after being Division I for 3.5 years, basically, was pretty special.
How big is it playing in front of your home crowd?
We loved it there. ASU's in the process of building a rink, so we played in a pretty tiny little rink in Arizona. But we had a great fan section, and even though it was probably only like 1,000 people at the game, it was still so loud, and other teams hated playing there, so we always thought we had a big advantage, and we did. I think we lost 2 games at home all year, my junior year, so it's good.
That's crazy. That's crazy good, man.
Yeah.
The AHL media coverage isn't as big as it is with the NHL. Does that provide some sort of comfort for you?
No, I don't mind the media. I never really have. I just kind of take it in stride and understand that it's part of the process. They do a pretty good job in Belleville with media stuff, and I'm always happy to be a part of it and help out wherever I can, and take any requests such as this one. Happy to do this kind of stuff. I like trying to build my brand, per se, and get my name out there and be someone that people feel like that isn't secluded from the fans. I like to be as close to the fans as possible, and know that or hope that they know they always have access to me.
Yeah, I definitely think that hockey players are put on some sort of pedestal, if you know what I mean. Like, that they're these superhumans when they're really just like us, just human beings.
Yeah, we're all normal guys, and we're normal people. We're just fortunate enough to be playing a game that we love for a living.
Yeah, definitely. What's your mentality knowing that each AHL game could be your final one, given the fact that you might get called up?
I try not to think about it. I mean, it's pretty cool being in the league, in the AHL, because that at any time you might get that call. But you kind of put it in the back of your head, and you just focus on the moment and try to be your best at that time, because you always want to be getting better and mentally preparing for when you do get that opportunity. But at the same time, you got to be at your best at that exact time in that moment. So for me, just trying to focus on the game I'm in, the practice I'm in, the moment I'm in, and trying to be the best I can be in that exact time.
Now, on May 11th, heartbreaking news for you, no doubt, is when the AHL officially announced the cancellation for the remainder of their season. With all this time off, how are you going to, remain in game shape for whenever they return?
Yeah, so just took some time off to recover from the season, and I'm sure they'll let us know well in advance. So I'll be training all summer and getting ready for the season, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, I would hope that you would be looking forward to it, going into your second year. Obviously, you're not a rookie anymore, so you might be treated with a bit more respect there.
Yeah, I think it's always good to have a get your first year under your belt and feel good about yourself. So um, for me, it's just about building on it and having an even better second year and kind of continuing to grow and evolve and develop as a goalie and as a player and just try to build on it, like I said, and be even better next year.
Now, this may be a stupid question, but how busy are you during the season?
During during the season, it's pretty busy. I mean, we have a really packed schedule. Playing games 3 or 4 times a week, and practice days are probably the light days for us. It's just going to the rink in the morning from 8 to noon or 8 to 1, and just doing everything we need to do at the rink, video, off ice training, and then practice and stuff like that. So the afternoon we kind of get some downtime to enjoy, but with all the travel and playing on the road and games and stuff, it gets really busy.
Yeah, I would think so. What about the off season? Like, how busy are you during the off season?
I'm not crazy busy, but I like to keep myself occupied. My buddies and I, we golf a lot. Obviously during the week, training on the ice and off the ice, and I do yoga, I do vision training. I have a bunch of different stuff that I'm doing to just try to get better. And um, for me, I think I try to balance, and especially in the off season, I try to balance hockey with just having a normal life and getting to spend time with my family and friends. And because you don't get that much time to do that during the season because you're so busy with games and being focused on hockey. So just try to balance my training with staying ready and being as much away from hockey while still being prepared for the next season.
Yeah, definitely. Have you been out golfing during this time?
Yeah, I'm here in Massachusetts at home, so they just kind of opened up golf in the last few weeks. So it's been nice to get back out on the golf course and occupy my time a little bit.
How hard is it to get a tee time?
We actually haven't had too much difficulty. You just kind of got to plan in advance right now because it's so packed and they get the tee times really spread out. So it hasn't been too bad. You just kind of got to plan it early.
Yeah, here in Canada, I'm pretty sure we opened up golf courses, I think about a month ago. And, tee times have been totally booked. I've been, hearing conversations from my friends, and they're like, they've been going over like Monday, it's booked, Tuesday's booked, et cetera. And it's crazy because,
Yeah.
that's the only thing people can do now.
I know. Well, it's the safest thing to do with, the virus. You don't have to go near anybody, and it's pretty easy to keep your 6 feet. So, yeah, I think it's good that they're letting people start getting back into regular life, and it's good that the cases are starting to die down.
Yeah, definitely. You did mention earlier that you guys had an amazing season, finishing first in your division with 81 points. What contributed to the team's success?
Well, I think first off, Coach Mann did an unbelievable job with our team. He's one of my favorite coaches I ever had, and I think he does a really good job of holding the team accountable. But he also lets us play, and he knows that mistakes are going to be made, and that we're trying our best out there, and we're doing everything we can to win. So I think we had that going for us, and I think we had this swagger that all the guys talked about was just for some reason, maybe we had an off night or a bad game, but next game we always came back and won. And even within games, we had a couple times we had crazy comebacks. We were down to Laval 4-1 with 5 minutes left, and we scored 3 goals and then won in overtime. Like we just kind of had this resiliency and this team camaraderie that was really strong, and it just helped us win a lot of games. And we just kind of played loose and free and just had fun with it, and I think it helped us a lot.
What's the biggest takeaway for you from your first pro season?
I think the biggest thing is that it's a marathon, not a sprint. I think in college you only play 35 games, so every game is you're at your absolute peak 100% levels. And pro is a lot about finding a way to play well when you're at 80% or 90%, not 100%. Just in terms of mental energy, physical energy, because you're so busy and you have so many games and so much travel that it's just about finding a way to be your best every night.
Is it disappointing at all that March 11th, that was the last time you guys played? That might be the last time you see the guys because they would graduate from the AHL to the NHL.
Yeah, I think that's just the nature of hockey and pro hockey. Every year there's turnover on every team and different levels. And I'm sure I'll see most of the guys, and some of the guys I'll never see again. So, that's sad. But at the same time, it's kind of just the nature of the beast, and you kind of get used to it.
Now, what's a typical game day for you? Take us through, playing against the Marlies, let's say.
Okay. Yeah. So if we're playing at home, we got morning skate at 10. So for me, I like to get to the rink around 8, get a little bit of treatment, warm up. We usually do a little pre-scout with the goalie coach, Corey Cooper, kind of go over what our plan is for the night and who we're targeting and what kind of their tendencies are. And then morning skate, I'll usually get on the ice around 9:45, 15 minutes early to warm up with Corey, and then about a 25 minutes morning skate. Head home, grab food, take a nap, back to the rink around 4:30, the latest, and then kind of go through my pregame routine, and then all of a sudden it's game time, 7 o'clock, puck drop.
Well, that does sound like it seems like it's a light day, but, I definitely understand how, busy it would be for you. Because
it seems light, but it's
yeah.
the entire day. You're doing something that has purpose the entire day. So there's really no downtime other than the nap.
Yeah, exactly. You did get credited with 3 assists this season, which is a career high for you. Would you be able to speak on that achievement?
Yeah. I like playing the puck, so it's something I'm proud of. Although I think on 2 of them, I literally didn't do anything other than just stop the puck behind the net and scored. So I'll take those assists, but I didn't really do anything too special on those.
Hey, man, I mean, at least it's a good start to your career.
Yeah, it counts, right?
Yeah, many athletes deal with ups and downs during the season. How do you remain balanced as a goalie?
Well, I think you just try to stay even keel no matter what. When things go well, you're happy and you're excited about it, but you just can't get too high or too low. And for me, that just helps me stay even keel, like I said, throughout the whole season.
Yeah, definitely. Out of the teams you played, you did say that you were in the hotel most of the season. Who would you say is the best and worst roommate?
Best and worst roommate?
Yeah.
Well, I live with Carks. I live with Mike Carconi all year on the road in the hotel. And we had a love-hate relationship because we were good buddies, but then he would throw on a movie and then I would start quoting the whole movie and he would tell me to leave the room. So he was my roommate for most of the year. And Philip Gustafson, our other goalie, we were roommates sometimes as well, especially like in training camp and stuff. And he just loves playing computer games, so we didn't talk a whole lot when we were in the room together.
So would you say that Philip Gustafson is probably the worst roommate, or would it go with Carconi?
No, he's still a good roommate. He just likes to play his video games. I don't mind. I just watch Netflix or sit on my computer. It's different with everybody. Some guys like to talk a lot, and some guys like to, put their headphones on and watch a show or something. But me and Carks got along really well, and we would just watch movies together and hang out and go to dinner and stuff. So he was definitely the best.
Does your game day prep change whether you are playing at home versus on the road?
Yeah, mostly just because we have team meals and times are different for everything as opposed to having to cook my own food or pick up my own food for a home game. So it's a little bit different. But you kind of have a routine for home and a routine for away, and they both work for me.
Yeah, well, it's good that you have a routine, I think that starting out with a routine is very important as you just get used to it, and it kind of relieves the nerves, I think, before a game.
Yeah. I think biggest thing for me is just kind of I'm not superstitious, but I just like to, hit my marks on my routine every day and just kind of do the same things so that I can just feel like I did everything possible to have a good game and feel like I'm settled.
Now, your career is still young, but do you have a funny story that you would be able to share?
Funny story. I got nothing off the top of my head right now. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on you. Sorry.
Well, a bird just flew into my window, so that's an odd thing. I never had that happen to me. So, final question here is: do you have any advice for aspiring hockey goalies that may look up to you?
I think the biggest thing is understanding that it's not a short journey. It's going to take a while, and it takes so much longer than you think. You know, whether you're 8 years old, 12 years old, 16 years old, you may think you're close, but every little step is a big step. And it's really about just having fun and enjoying hockey. I think a lot of people get too caught up in the end goal and not what's going on during the middle. So for me, my biggest advice would just be to enjoy every moment and just enjoy playing hockey, because hockey's supposed to be a fun game. Don't get too caught up in the end goal and what you want out of it. Just get caught up in loving the game and enjoying every minute and being with your buddies and getting to play hockey. And in turn, things will work out the way they're supposed to.
I would like to thank Joey Daccord, Belleville Senators goaltender, for joining me on the Pagcast today. Thank you again, Joey.
Thanks for having me.